Hey everybody, it's Christopher and Jay again.
Hi, Craig. Hi, Chris.
Hi. It's been over a year, like a year and a month now.
Since we started this shindig,
A year and 2 months actually.
wow, time
Yeah.
flies.
Yep. Well, it is time for another grumpy guest. So,
Ooh,
Craig, go ahead and bring in the next guest, please.
What the fuck? Why am I being dragged here again?
what the fuck, Craig?
That's the schedule from last year. Bruce was this time last year. Not when. Where's the guest for this week?
Welcome back to 2020, bitches.
Oh,
Oh
hell
God.
no. No,
No.
I'm out. I'm
Bye.
out. I'm
It's
fucking
over. We're
leaving.
leaving.
Nobody
Welcome back,
wants
Bruce.
anything to do with that.
How have you been for the past year?
Uh, you asked me to tell the future? This is 2020.
Well,
Clairvoyance. Let's see. I'm gonna do a bunch of work and not be happy about it. That's what 2021 is gonna be.
yeah, definitely a bunch of work.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get the website updated for the Grumpy Dungeon Master website, and I've
Mm-hmm.
received a picture from Bruce, nothing from Jay, and a blurb from Panda, but no picture.
Well, being that we're in 2020, technically you haven't asked me for it yet.
Oh, is that how we're playing it? All
Yep.
right, 2020. Eh,
That's how I'm playing it. Not my fault.
well, welcome back, Bruce. It's good to have you back for another one, just for funs. I hope
Um,
that you're doing well. How's
well
your
enough.
podcast?
We had a good podcast today.
Yeah. Well, you guys actually were out at a festival, right?
Not today.
No, I mean a little while ago.
Yeah, back in June.
Well,
You guys
our
are at
audience doesn't
you
know
guys
that.
are at breweries like every other week.
Yeah, but he said festival. Be
Oh.
Yeah.
specific.
I mean, they got invited to a festival. That's a big thing.
Yeah, we got another one coming up here in 3 weeks.
Nice.
Nice.
Go
Gen Con
ahead,
was
go
this
ahead,
weekend.
go ahead and pitch your podcast. That way, everybody knows what the hell we're talking about. For the schlubs who didn't listen to the podcast you were on last time.
Drunk with Buds podcast on all platforms. We sit around, drink beers we've never had, or ciders, or wines, or hard alcohol, whatever we decide we wanted to do. We usually have a guest, we interview them, they enjoy libations with us, and talk pop culture, music, entertainment news, and whatever the hell we want.
Sounds like fun, and I mean, it is a good podcast. I've listened to a few of them. So
Today we had a beer that tasted like cherry cola.
see, I could probably drink that.
We had one
I've
that
been
tasted like a mango mimosa, and we had one that tasted like a margarita that was smoked with mezcal.
Well, all right
it's
then.
definitely interesting. I've been drinking uh echidna tea for like the past 5 days, so I could use something different.
Didn't do it.
Yeah.
I need it for my throat because I'm not getting over this cold.
Ah.
Tequila sounds great. Throats.
But this echidna tea is helping a lot.
You keep saying echidna, and I know that's like a reptile or something like that, but I keep thinking of like the old Hercules stuff where that was the name of the mother of all monsters.
The mother of all monsters. Was that echidna?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. Yes. You're talking to the man who's been alive since those times.
It is. Holy cow. Well, it's also a rodent that's from Sonic.
That's what it
No.
was. Yeah.
Knuckles is the echidna.
That's right.
Yeah, or it could be the thing that's much older.
Or it
Some
could be a.
some Japanese person decided that's a cool name for a varmint to put in a game.
So it's either the mother of all monsters or a spiny anteater. Yeah.
Yep. Those things are cute too. They're just little small balls of spiky.
But yeah, I'm drinking echidna tea, so it's helping.
So, Bruce, now that you're back on, you could complain about all the stuff on air that you complained to us about that we talked about off air?
Yeah, what did we get wrong in the past year? Start at the beginning. Go.
You guys are pussies for not calculating XP. It is not a hard time to run a campaign where players are at different levels. You're just lazy.
Yes. Yes,
Uh,
I am.
Yes,
Yeah.
we agree.
but you made it
We
sound like it was like, oh, it's so hard.
Oh
It's
no.
not.
we could
No.
have called this the Lazy Dungeon Master podcast and been just as accurate.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely not difficult whatsoever. I'm just lazy.
Yeah, exactly.
I just like saying,
I'm
here,
sure there
you
was
have you
plenty
have
of
a level.
more. What?
I say I just enjoy saying, here, you get a level, and you get a level, and you get a level, and you get a level.
Yeah,
No math involved.
that just sounds dumb. I mean, like I do more than just, like when I do the XP calculations, and I don't recommend anyone else do what I do, but like I keep track of like if a person even engaged in the monster or anything like that. So if they didn't even engage in the monster, they don't get any cut of that XP.
That's a
You don't
bit.
do the crap where like if they don't get the killing blow, they don't get an HP, right?
No. They have to just at least engage. Even if they miss, that's engaging with something.
So you
Or if
do
an
the
action
Pokemon
they
rules.
do, like a bard or anything like that, is they're not necessarily engaging with things. They're just spurring their guys forward or boosting their own people. That would count because the people that are engaging those things are getting boosted because of their music or magic and things like that. So like I'm not disrewarding the non-melee characters.
Right. Yeah. So you go by Pokemon rules.
No, God, don't label it with that because
That's exactly what it is. That is the Pokemon rule for when it
no,
comes to
I've been doing it way before Pokemon existed. So it's the Bruce rule, and Pokemon stole it.
Yeah, it's the EverQuest rule. If you hit it, then you get XP for it.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the
Well,
only one who played EverQuest, but
No.
I didn't want to acknowledge that basement dwelling game, but I've been doing this before even EverQuest, and again, you don't have to hit it; you just have to engage it.
yeah, I know.
Yep. You just got to keep your Pokemon out at the start, and then pull them into the bubble, and then throw the other one out that you want to fight.
Stop! Why are you keep
Pokemon
bringing
rule.
up this stupid game?
Because it's the most successful Pokemon or most successful video game franchise of all time.
I'm sure people are still playing Pong.
No.
Not many. Not many.
Yeah. I mean, Tetris is still up there.
I really would like to argue the Pokemon thing, but I'm not going to look up any facts about it. So I'm lazy, pointless.
Just like your campaigns. Boom.
Oh.
Hey now, my
Anything else?
campaigns kick ass.
Anything else that we've gotten wrong that you're all mad
Oh, I'm
about?
sure there's countless other ones that I complained about months ago, and my heated calls about getting me on the podcast were unmet until Craig comes up and gets me when I'm not supposed to be on.
Yeah. And by the way, the top 10 in order is Pokemon, Mario, Call of Duty, Wii Sports, because Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Dungeon Fighter Online, Street Fighter, Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft.
What the
Okay.
fuck is Dungeon Fighter?
I don't know, but all of them are terrible.
The fact that that's mind you, I do not know what that is. The fact that that's even on that list shoots that whole list to crap.
It's probably some
Mobile game. I'm guessing it's
Japanese
a
or
mobile
mobile
game.
game. Yeah.
Yep, never heard of it. Doesn't count.
Dungeon Fighter Online. It is a computer game.
So Bruce, did Waples tell you about the stuff I found at an estate sale the other day, or has he just left that alone?
No, he didn't tell me about that. No estate sale. Last time I heard you guys talk about buying crap is Waples going and buy a bunch of second edition books.
So I'm at an estate sale in the middle of nowhere in Alabama.
Well,
And all of
Alabama is in the middle of nowhere.
All of Alabama is pretty middle of nowhere, but you do have some decent cities like Huntsville and Birmingham. This was not those. This was very, very middle of nowhere. And I'm going through this house just looking at stuff. The person who used to live there had stacks and stacks and stacks of magazines, and tons and tons of old books. I'm just in a closet area looking at the stacks of magazines, and I just turn to the left and I see two pristine first edition modules just sitting there on a shelf. So I nabbed those things up at like $2 a piece. But yeah, it's amazing when you find stuff like that. I had debated on reselling them, and then I'm like, no, no, I'm just going to throw these in my collection because, well, that's what gamers tend to do.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like
Honestly, the pictures you sent us of those they look so pristine. I
Yeah,
would almost go get them graded.
nah, they're not quite that good. There's a few little bends and creases here and there, but as far as one of them was in 1981, the other was 1982, and
nice.
yeah, for that old, they're in fantastic condition.
I
On
mean,
the one other thing that was with them that I didn't tell you about Waples was there was a hex grid TSR book as well with them. So there's no cover to it. It's just sort of a blank looking thing that's nothing but hex grids that you can use.
that's cool.
Yeah, but I mean the fact it has the TSR thing on it, I looked it up on eBay. It sells for about $40 to $45.
Yeah, I would have grabbed. I mean, if I see anything old that's TSR, I'm just grabbing it
Oh yeah,
at
yeah,
this
yeah.
point.
Yeah, I still have some old stuff that I visit every now and then in the backs of my closets and stuff like that. And I mentioned the Waples before that I have a pristine copy of the Council of Worms campaign setting from second edition.
Right. That's a nice one. I have. I don't know if it's Council of Worms or it's one. It's the one where it gives you the dragons as playable characters from
Yeah,
second edition.
that's Council of Worms teaching you how to be a wormling all the way up to an ancient dragon.
Yeah, yeah. Like I have the book for that. I just couldn't remember if that was it or not.
I love it. I love that book. I still pull out morsels from it for things.
Yeah, I played in a Council of Worms game before. We played a couple of game sessions as that, and as we were wormlings and managed to piss off all the elder dragons, we just sort of ran away, and that campaign was over with.
It's the one
So
time that wormlings of different colors actually the dragons wouldn't care what colors you were when you're wormlings.
Yeah, that setting in general is just kind of neat. How often, like I don't think there's any other settings I know of where you actually get to play dragons. Uh, like Dragonlance, there are prestige classes and stuff like that that have dragons that work with them, but you're still playing some sort of human or elf or something else.
Yeah, it really puts the dragon in dungeons.
Yeah.
um, so I did have a question for Bruce and for Jay.
Oh,
Since
42.
you guys were here.
purple.
We've been doing this for a while now. I've been streaming my game on Twitch, and subscriptions through Twitch. Basically, I get paid somewhat to be a DM. I published my adventures, and they sold fairly well. Um, I am 10 copies away, I think. Sorry, no, 20 copies away from 500 copies sold for Dread of the Ice Devil.
Not
So
bad. Not bad at all.
I've made money somewhat. It's all been rolled right back into the Grumpy Dungeon Master website and stuff like that.
You
But
pay
do you guys know of there's a website that you can go and hire DMs to be your dungeon master?
I'm
Uh,
I've never heard of it, but I'm not surprised that it's a thing.
yeah, I
Right.
was not familiar with that either. I knew that people did that, but I didn't know there was a site to do it.
So
Is it like swipe up or swipe left if you
it's
don't
called
like this DM?
it's called startplaying.games. And you go there, you find a GM, you can find a game, whatnot. But I also it's interesting. There's lots of DMs out there and games out there, but I also found a couple days ago that they have a looking for group section on Roll20 where you can hire DMs through there too, which I thought was interesting. And then I found one that I wanted to read you what the DM posted. and I want you to tell me if you would hire this DM.
Oh, please, please
Okay.
read this to me.
All right. It says, "Hi, I am a 19-year-old. I am 19 years old, and I've been running Dungeons and Dragons for about 5 years now. Over the course of my experience, I have run short campaigns and long-term campaigns, and I have a passion for creating living stories and adventures that my players can experience in a fantastical world. Period."
Waples, I love the fact that you're reading this like a 19-year-old. Continue.
I'm reading exactly what he wrote. I'm
Is it over
striving
already?
Yeah, I am striving to create an exciting world full of intriguing mysteries, alluring treasures, and deep NPCs that are rewarding to discover. I endeavor to create a highly immersive experience that is unmatched, such as an extremely descriptive game environment, exciting, dynamic, full combat full of interactive opportunities, freedom of choice, and atmospheric music that changes based on the mood and situation. Furthermore, I have a love of role playing and create realistic voices for NPCs and acting them out in a colorful way. Above all, I want to make sure that everyone has a good time and gets the experience they wanted. I will strive to help you create your character and backstory if desired. I welcome both new and experienced players to my game. Then he has a list of like what to do for character creation. All characters begin at level 1, 27-point buy system. Max HP at level 1. Starting at level 2, you roll for roll for HP, rejecting 1s and 2s on the die roll. All official published material is allowed for character creation. Unofficial material is subject to DM approval. And during session 0, I will help you create your character and background and answer any other questions. Now, how much would you pay for his services?
$0.
Okay. So, as I'm a long-term DM myself, I'm not going to pay anything. But I'm going to throw myself in the role of somebody who knows nothing about dungeon mastering. I'm a 19-year-old kid who's looking to play some Dungeons and Dragons, and I need a DM. I don't know what's minimum wage, $7.50 an hour or something like that. So
I'm,
Mhm.
I'm not
everybody chip in. We'll do $10 an hour. He can run like 3 or 4 hour games.
even if I'm role playing myself as a 20-year-old. I am not. It sounded paced and copied like from 19 different sources, and he's only been playing for 5 years on probably one system. So he is a new player.
Well,
Uh,
look, I agree. I'm throwing myself in the role of somebody who is also relatively new to D&D, looking for a DM.
that's fine. I'm still.
Any of us three, we're old, jaded, grumpy sons of bitches. Let's be
I
real.
I agree, but if I'm 20-year-old and the guy's like, I'm super experienced. I'm 19. What? No,
If
I'll
you have
play
been,
in it. I'm just not paying for it.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, to be fair, when I was 20, I didn't have any money to pay somebody to do anything anyway. But so I would roughly guess, $10 an hour, maybe a little more.
No,
So
I
what
would
it?
pay none. But Waples, I'm
Yep.
guessing that he's saying he's asking for $30 an hour.
All right. So what's he asking?
The first session was free. All right.
Give you that
And then
fix.
the fix is free.
Yep.
And then it's $40 per game, $10 per hour.
Okay. That's not unreasonable whatsoever.
So you have to pay $40 to keep your seat, and then $10 for every hour of the game.
Okay, so everybody has to pay $40 per game session and then $10 an hour?
Yes.
Oh
That's
yeah, no,
that's
no,
worth.
yeah, yeah, no, screw that. I say $10 an hour. I'm not gonna pay the $40 on top of that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of money to be made out there for professional DMs. There has to be, and with between Roll20's community system and Start Playing, and there's a couple other sites out there where people can hire DMs. You know,
Yeah.
I'm
And
sure
then
some people are making some money, but I don't think anyone's making a livable income, unfortunately.
Uh, if they are doing several, I mean, honestly, somebody who loves dungeon mastering, like that's their whole lot in life, is that's just the only thing they want to do. you could make a living doing this.
Oh yeah, I mean, I hate online. I really, really, really hate playing online. But if you just did the one campaign, you got it down pat, you got everything you need, it's already uploaded, you could just run the same thing over and over and over for different groups all the time. There's money there. There's money there.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that because like I could run Frostbandit again without any issues. There's no work that I have to really do. Maybe I got to fill in a couple things that my party didn't touch, but I prepped most of it on my Foundry system. I
Yep.
just need people to bring in their characters, and I can play it at all, at any time.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like
yeah.
with I know I can't say with Foundry, but Roll20, if you're like a subscribing member to Roll20 or whatever, you can just have the entirety of it already pre-uploaded. Yeah, every single monster already in position, and at that point, it's just sort of cut and paste. Just do it over and over and over again. You could run 1 or 2 adventures a day, every single day of the week if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I found that interesting. I hope that kid does well. He's definitely a kid. I mean,
Oh
he
yeah.
wrote a fantastically worded intro, and
It's a
that's
little
what caught.
too good.
It was a little too good. Like,
I think it's pasted and copied from like texts on backs of books and stuff like that about bringing you immersive stuff on Adventure Pass or modules and things like that.
yeah, or the good old high school equivalent of what does the thesaurus say?
Yep. I mean, he could have just hopped in some Reddit group and had people helping him to organize it and make it very sort of professional, as it
Yeah,
were.
but I'm not gonna talk down. I think it was excellently crafted, and I hope he's doing well. I hope he has a person for each of his games, and I hope he's playing his heart out.
More power to him. We can get that money. If he can get it, he
Yeah,
can get it.
Yeah. I mean, once again, we're old and grumpy, and we're all dungeon masters ourselves. We're not going to pay somebody else to do it. But that being said, if
do it
people are
myself.
willing, yeah, I can do it myself. But if he can find people,
Ironically, I do require money for me the dungeon master, but it goes to the printing and it goes all towards the game. So
yeah,
I'm not making anything off it. I'm just not losing as much money as I normally would.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're, go ahead.
I spend so much money printing out maps and stuff like that, but especially when I ran Adventures League, it was like $20 a week to print out the maps that I need. Not to mention the constant making sure I have the books and the subscription and a bunch of other things. It's just there was definitely a cost on my side, and there was no reward, which is why I'm very happy Twitch has turned out the way it is because like I'm able to take that money that I'm getting from Twitch and throw it right back into the game. I'm not worried about like, oh man, do I got the $50 to buy the hardcover and the D&D Beyond cover? No, I just got that money. I'm just going to buy it.
Yeah.
So at
By the way,
least that it's fueling the hobby, which I love and greatly appreciate everyone who's donated and subscribed to the Twitch channel. So make sure you're subscribed to the Twitch channel.
yeah, subscribe and actually maybe show up on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays to check us out.
I do occasionally, but no one ever listens to my tactics.
I set the tree on fire. No one cared.
Yeah, but in that battle, it would have helped. I came in for 1 second and I saw exactly what was going on. I knew what to do as a PC, and no one listened to me.
There's a kobold in the tree. Set the tree on fire. I actually was in a game today. Reverend Panda hosted his one-shot game where he brought us in for a one-shot that was just supposed to basically be a celebratory one-shot for him reaching affiliate status on Twitch. And we spent 4 hours, had one combat session, and basically like skill checked our way through everything we possibly could. It was quite fun. It was very enjoyable, and so he's gonna start doing some streaming of his own here soon. So hopefully that works out.
Nice.
But he's been playing a lot of Kingmaker, the Pathfinder game, and
Oh,
Bruce,
I have
I
news
know
about that.
you wanted to talk about it because you, being a Pathfinder DM yourself, you have
That's right.
opinions. So tell us your opinions.
Well, the company Owlcat that makes that game, it's a fun game. they've had a bad history of when the game launched, having lots of bugs. Like it literally took a year before you could play that game without having problems. Well, they just released their newest one, the Wrath of the Righteous. It's even more expansive than the first game, guys. More expansive. So much so that new players to computer games that are roll top based are hating it. And old players are like, good, then don't. Don't play it. We don't want you to play it because this is more like tabletop than ever for a computer game. And it's because character creation can take up to 5 hours to 2 days.
Okay, hold on. What game is this? I'm about to do a Google search here.
It's the Wrath of the Righteous, I believe. It's just look up Owlcat's
Okay, yeah,
new
Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Okay.
There's 25 classes now available, where the other one had like 8, and each class has 3 subclasses that you can choose from. And what most of the new players coming to it are complaining about, that you see on the Reddits and the different things, is the fact that they're not glad handing you through the process. So you can make a terrible character if you didn't know that feat doesn't really work for this ability and all those things. And they're like, I did all that time doing this and he sucks or she sucks. And the tabletop people are like, if you played the tabletop game, you wouldn't have this problem. Shut up.
All I have to say is people bitching about the difficulty of video games and never fucking played Wizardry.
Now, there is some true things. I guess, it's just like any Owlcat game when it's buggy as shit. But you just have to know that it's going to take, they always release these games earlier than they really need to because they want to make money.
Yeah. Got to make that money back that you spent to make it.
They'll fix the bugs. I always wait. I just wait a year, and then you get the game for like half off.
Yeah, like I played the other. There was another Pathfinder one that came out a while back, a couple years ago, I think.
Kingmaker.
Yeah, Kingmaker. Like I played the hell out of that. It was a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Wait, so what, the new one's Kingmaker or the new one's?
The old one's Kingmaker. The new one's the Wrath of the Righteous.
Okay, all right.
Which is another praised adventure path from Paizo. Kingmaker was probably the most sold one, and Wrath of the Righteous is another one because it's another one. This is one of the first ones where they dabbled with the idea that you didn't have to play good characters.
Yeah, okay. So the only comment that I can make is, not having played anything about Wrath of the Righteous, is that when I played Diablo 2, one thing that really annoyed me is that I couldn't respec the talent tree when I built a character. So I had to basically agonize every single level up about like, what skill am I going to go to next, and hopefully I don't change weapons or something major along the way. And it really irritated me that I couldn't like build out a character and kind of like try something out, and then if I didn't like it, push it back and try and go elsewhere.
Well, you just
So
save
I
your save
never
game.
liked that.
Just save your save game file before the level.
No, you can't do that.
Well, you can do that in this one.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but in this one at the same time, it may be 10 levels before you realize you screwed up.
Yeah. So when I played Diablo 2, like I said, there were a lot of beginning characters that I had that had a lot of missed place talent points. And it wasn't until like much later, and like 5 years into the game, that I realized, okay, this is the build I need for this character, and this is the gear that I need. And there'd be times where I'd build out a character and be like, okay, I got all the good gear for them, but it's not as good as the bow is on, so I have to swap over to that. But I can't swap over to that, so I have to build a whole brand new character. And I had like 50 characters in the game. And I just I get that same vibe from the Pathfinder game. Like, okay, this is the character I want. May not work, so I have to rebuild a whole new character.
Yeah, well, when I played the Kingmaker one, I played a class I usually never play. I played an alchemist because I just, with what NPCs I knew and what like levels and classes they were, I just felt there was the need was there, and I knew they're a very good damage outputter with the subclass of Grenader.
Yeah, see,
Okay.
I never did the Pathfinder thing, as you know, but I played a lot of third edition, and there's a lot of similarities in that. And in third edition, it was absolutely possible. Hell, it was easy to build a bad character.
Yeah,
So yeah, and you would get to those higher levels and realize, well, crap, I am terrible in a fight.
Yeah, but did you have the opportunity to fix them or
No,
not?
I mean, once you're, once you're level 15, you don't get to respend or respec. What you built is what you built. You can start fixing it going forward, past that point. But yeah, it's not like you're getting, you don't just get to respend all of your points. You don't get to, change classes.
yeah, and this is the organics of the character, so I don't see that as a failure. You get to level 14, I'm like, oh man, this is not working out the way I need it to. I'm not as good as I need to be. Okay, well, I mean, you're still part of that group. You went through how many missions and stuff like that where you were a part of it and stuff like that. Well, if you happen to die, you happen to die, but that's just the journey of the character.
Yeah. And like it also depended kind of what you were building. Like fighters, it was difficult to build a bad fighter. Rangers, it's hard to build a bad ranger. But if when it came to spellcasting classes, it was not difficult to build a bad spellcaster. If you did not pick the right feats along the way, you're not going to be able to beat spell resistance. Every spellcaster who was throwing combat spells at targets had to spec a certain way. If you didn't do that along the way, you're never going to beat the spell resistance of the top tier monsters. And at that point, you're just not doing anything. You have to, I guess you could kind of change up your spell lineup to boost your other people. But
Yeah,
Mm.
I disagree. You could build a bad ranger.
you
It just
can, but it's
dumb
harder.
dumb with your. We're underground all the time, so I'm gonna choose above ground favored races.
Yep. Yeah, or you never go underground. I'm going to take Dungeon Delver as a prestige class. I don't think that's going to work out too well there, bro. Yeah, it was possible to make bad choices, but yeah, certain classes it was just kind of difficult.
I always like doing off flavor classes and stuff like that when I play games. I usually try to build like what I like to play the first couple times, and then like find out like weird off the wall builds that could be like. Since my only reference is Diablo 2, like I played the Whirlwind Barbarian, and I played the Bow Amazon, and the Frost Sorceress. The staple ones that
Like
people
literally
love,
everyone else, yeah.
like everyone else. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna play this Horker Barbarian, which is his whole idea is you basically go into like war cries, and you run in there, you kill one mob, and then you start horking at it. It's the sound that the guy made when he used his explode body or whatever it was ability, and you just start horking all over the battlefield or building the potion throwing variant. So I like doing off the wall things, but only when I know absolutely that I can do it and still get away with it.
Yeah. Yeah, in D&D games or tabletop games, that's kind of it's very difficult. Um just yeah, because it does hurt. If you build just a bad character, it hurts everybody else at the table, unfortunately. Now,
Yeah.
if everyone builds off-kilter characters, that works okay because the DM can easily sort of, balance the game to work with bad characters. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the podcast, but apparently you guys weren't listening after the podcast, so it was totally messing up our metrics. So now I'm going to cut in and do it right now. So make sure to check us out on Instagram at
Grumpy Dungeon Masters
and on Twitter
at Grumpy_DMs,
and Facebook
Grumpy Dungeon Masters,
and on Twitch.
also Grumpy Dungeon Masters.
And when do we stream on Twitch?
Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do our D&D game, which is currently an out campaign. But we also stream on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. just video games with me and Jay. And I, Christopher, stream on Friday, or I do campaign prep and other D&D related fun things.
And maybe
Also-
if you're lucky, you can find us on TikTok where Chris will do dancing or something.
Oh yeah, I did open a TikTok. It's Grumpy Dungeon Master, so I'll be dancing there soon. So speaking of bad characters and off kilter characters, I've been playing Panda. I played Pandas one shot game today, and I had convinced them to let me play a gunslinger. Because gunslingers really don't exist in his world. There's one town where it's a gnomish town that you can go to, and they
Fucking
have
gnomes.
guns. Okay, and essentially my backstory was I was a noble and it's kind of like told to leave, and so I left. And I wasn't the strongest character. In fact, my strength is 0, and I'm a fighter. But I had good dexterity. So he basically sent me to the gnomish lands to basically get technology to kind of like make up for the difference of the fact that I have no skills with the blade. And so he let me be a gunslinger. And he was very upset when the damage that the gunslinger does, because I can do, I think it's 1d10 plus 3 and 1d8 plus 3 in a single action. Well, now I have extra attack. It's 2d10 plus 6 and
Right. But every
Um,
time you roll like a 1 or something, your gun jams.
yeah. Well, I expect out of it, but he's like, that's just ridiculous damage for your level. That's insane. I'm like, that's just a crossbow. It's 2 hand crossbows. I was like, the polearm guy's gonna do more damage than me. And then I walk out there and I think I take my 3 shots and I hit all 3 of them and do something like 26 damage. I'm like,
At
yeah,
what level? What level were you guys?
5.
Okay.
So I do 26 damage at level 5, and then the halberd barbarian does his thing and does like 37.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here like, yeah, the gunslinger does so much damage. Oh.
Yeah, we there's a I don't remember the name of the feat, but the one that you can take like -5 to hit to do +10 damage.
I will be
Y-
getting that soon.
Yeah, it's
In Paizo, that'd be like power attack.
yeah. That's effectively what it is. I think they changed the name for 5th, but that's what it is.
Yeah. So, in the Pathfinder world, Bruce, are you doing the original or are you doing Pathfinder 2?
I own the Pathfinder 2 stuff. I like the character creation, but it's too 5e for me. So I play Pathfinder 1. I'm not anti Pathfinder 2, but I'm Pathfinder 1. But I am finding it harder when I'm looking at new modules and things coming out, trying to see how I can convert it back to 1.
Okay.
Just because the DCs are all much different, much differently because of the skills. So like, it's hard to figure out what level of difficulty they were going for. If I don't, it's probably because I don't have my head wrapped around how the skill trees work, like your proficiencies and how good you're at them and stuff like that. And once I got that down, I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem for me to go on there. But that's my laziness. I'm just going to stick with the system I like and people still like.
I mean, you could
Yeah.
still just sort of wing it, like even if you don't have direct numbers, you've done enough DMing, you know roughly what the challenge ratings for skill checks should be.
Oh yeah, I'm not against it, but like I said, I've been telling Waples all the time. I don't have time to even think about gaming, let alone to game.
Nah, I get that.
The only thing I have is I've been banting around this premise. I don't know how I would run it, but let's just say there's a table where I'm DMing for you, Waples, 2 or 3 other guys, and your characters are doing something in the game. You interrupt a ceremony of a cultist or something like that, and so you guys wake up, and now you guys are yourselves in your own game.
I die immediately.
Well,
No,
then you would wake up right where you were. You would reset. Every time one of you guys die, you reset everything.
Oh God, we're Groundhog Day.
No, it's called death looping now because that's the current popular game.
The funny thing I wrote into it is that you guys will slowly figure out that what you guys did in your original game ended up in the cult. They had all these shrines everywhere, and that's how you found the center where they were at. You guys in the game would have to build those shrines to reenact the ceremony in reality to bring you back to the present, which is where those shrines all those cultists were using were practicing the religion that you accidentally started to go back to the future.
It sounds like Galaxy Quest.
My God, my brain. It's very hack.sign meets Groundhog Day. Yeah.
It's not Groundhog Day. It's Deathloop. It's Deathloop.
No, it's Groundhog Day, man.
No, you're old. It's Deathloop.
Until Bill Murray is no longer with us, it's fucking Groundhog Day.
I'm gonna have to give it a J on that one, Waples.
Y'all just
Or
don't
if you
understand
want to
the kids
go
nowadays.
in between there, you can go Live, Die, Repeat, the Tom Cruise
love that
movie.
one.
They changed the name of that. It was something else.
Tomorrow. No, wait. What
Yeah,
was
Tomorrow
it?
Never Dies.
No, that's a Bond movie.
That's a Bond movie. Hold on. Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah, the day after. No, that's about snow and shit.
Is that a Bond movie also?
No, it's about snow and stuff.
So the manga is called Live, Die, Repeat. The movie is called Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. Edge
The
of
end
Tomorrow.
of
There
tomorrow.
it is.
There you go.
I just looked up Tom Cruise Groundhog Day and it gave me it.
Yeah, but the day after tomorrow is about like if the polar vortex just stood over us for months in half of the United States and
Right.
turned to snow.
God, that movie was terrible.
Imagine what would happen if like there was a continent-sized hole in the ozone layer.
Yeah.
At the tip of my echidna tea now. Yeah. No problems at all.
Nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Everything's fine here.
How about as a player, what monster combo or monster that you really hated in the dungeons that always you're like motherfuck, why am
Toneberries.
that? What did you say?
Toneberries.
I don't even know what that is.
I know. It's a small, impolite creature that holds a lantern in one hand and a small dagger in the other. He slowly approaches your party and then stabs one of them, killing them instantly.
Wow.
Do you know why I hate Durgar? Because they go invisible and stab the sorcerer in the back. That's why.
Mine would be rust monsters. I've always hated rust monsters.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
They're weak as hell in 5e. I was really disappointed at that. I'm gonna bring real rust monsters back.
Well,
yeah.
good, because they should be a pain. Like they should make your players like, fuck.
Yeah, you want to see that front line fucking just turn and run. That's what you expect to see with a rust monster. It's like Medusa. They've changed how Medusas turn things to stone in 5th edition. It's not even dangerous anymore.
Oh, what?
Oh yeah. You get basically 2 saving throws on it, and unless you fail one of the saving throws by like 5 or more, it's just fucking garbage.
So they can't turn anyone to stone.
They do. It just takes 2 turns.
It takes like 2 turns.
NPCs.
So speaking of monsters, I was sitting here. My daughter was virtual schooling, and part of like their daily activities at kindergarten is they have this little notebook and they're supposed to draw pictures in their notebook. Well, she came up to me and showed me the picture that she drew while she was at school, and I just posted it to the Discord, and I'm gonna have Jay post it to the website when this goes live. And she came up to me with this monster, and essentially, the best way to describe it, it's one of those Japanese centipedes, those really long ones with the yellow legs and like the brown, like.
I'm sitting here counting the legs right now.
So she gave me this thing, which has teeth. She said it was like a giant, multi-legged monster, and I asked her to describe me what it's doing. It's like, well, it's really big. It's got a big bite, but it's really scary. I was like, oh, okay. So why is that girl laughing in the back? And she's like, well, she's not laughing. She's screaming. I was like, well, why is she screaming? She goes, well, it's because it just stole her shoe.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
So that thing in the center is the shoe. And you kind of see that the other one has the other shoe on.
I
And so I
just
was
thought
like,
it had a
so
huge,
yeah. So I was like, so it just steals shoes? She's like, yeah, but it only steals one.
I
That would
mean,
be
that's,
annoying.
yeah.
So I
I actually understand it because it has 15 legs on one side and 14 on the other.
well, you're not. I don't think you count. Maybe you're not. Yeah, I think you're right. Well, I wrote up the stats for this thing, and I had that in our game this last Saturday. It was
Great.
hilarious because like it would basically like it's a huge creature, okay, but like it always looked like it's a shadow. Just kind of gave it the ability. It looks like a shadow until you look at the shadow closely enough, and then it's the centipede. And so basically, it would sneak up, and it found a character who had shoes, and like it stole its shoe, and then like, but it got caught, so it basically just ran away real quick. And then,
I hope it was
uh,
hopping on a couple of legs while trying to pull the shoe
well,
on.
each of the legs has like a different shoe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
that's where they keep their stolen shoes and boots and sandals and whatever they can get.
yeah, and so then the elf decided to take the last watch for the night, and so he's kind of sitting out in the middle of the room, just kind of like watching, looking, and this thing sneaks up to him and tries to knock him down, but he saves and he tries to, he blinks away and he starts attacking it, but the thing runs right over, tries to knock him down again to try to steal his shoe. So he just takes his shoe off and throws it across the room. And the thing skitters after the shoe, grabs it, and runs away.
Oh, I mean that's still funny, but I've been like the thing is so entreated to stealing something that giving it to it doesn't make it want it.
He threw both his boots, so he only took one.
See, that's how you actually defeat the monster. Is you actually have to gift him a shoe, like give it to him. At that point, he disappears, blows up,
And
or
he
something.
leaves all his shoes. He has to start over.
Yeah.
All the
So
shoes he was wearing just get dumped.
if you do kill it, okay, there is a 1% chance you find a pair of magic boots.
Yeah. No, you find a magic boot.
Yeah, I initially had a 1% chance to find a magic boot, and then another 1% chance to find another one,
Yep.
and then you get a pair of magic boots. But I was just like, you know what? If you do, he just happened to steal 2 copies of Boots of Flying. He just happened to have his 2 right copies of the Boots of Flying.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
say,
it works.
hopefully, he got a right and a left, and not two rights.
Oh, no, actually, I'm probably write that in. He has 2 pair of magic boots, but they're both right. But it still counts.
Yeah, they have to be the winged boots too. That way, you can sort of fly in a circle, but you can't really go anywhere else with it.
That monster should have been flying then if it has boots of flying on.
Well, no, if they're all on the same leg, it can only just sort of fly in a circle.
It's still flying.
It doesn't know how to attune to things.
Yeah, that's fair. It is a monster after all.
So that was an amazing thing. And then I immediately tried to do a trap. I set up a puzzle for the guys to go through, and they hated it. So they had an amazing time with the monster, and then absolutely hated the trap.
Oh well.
Oh well, you can't
Traps
be
are
good at everything.
yeah. Some players don't like traps because they can be dangerous. Even in fifth edition, they can be kind of dangerous.
This is just the Zelda Lost Woods puzzle.
Oh Jesus.
But yeah, the problem with what I ran into is that I had everybody. I was counting like who was going the right way, and then like they kept resetting the puzzle and messing up, and I basically just okay, I had to add some more mechanics to it to have them figure it out, but it worked. So Bruce, what's your best puzzle / trap that you've ever done?
Uh, okay. You guys open the door to a 10-foot by 10-foot room. It's lit by torches, just dimly enough that you see a door on the other side starting to close with some kind of figure going through. You enter
I
the
push
room.
Jay in and close the door.
I cast Dimension Door and take Waples with me
Well,
to the other side of the room.
you both walked into the room, so you're both in the room.
Aw.
I cast Dimension Door and take my fighter with me to the other side of the room.
Okay, you're at the other side of the room. You see the door that was closed ahead of you.
Oh, shit.
I kick in the door.
Yep. That's what the
Okay, you
fighters
kick
are
in the
for.
door, and as you do, you see a 5 foot by 5 foot room, and then a door being violently shut on the other side of the room by some shadowy figures.
The last room was 10 by 10, right?
What? No, it's whatever. It's the same room.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not casting Dimension Door yet. I'll just walk.
Okay, you walk over to the door.
I have Waples. Yeah, I have Waples kick it.
Same thing happens again. It's like you're following somebody who keeps violently shutting a door ahead of you.
All right. After the second time, then we turn around and we kick the door we just came through.
Okay, and this time it's the opposite direction. So that's my trap.
I
The only way to get out of the
teleport and go home.
The only way to get out of it is to walk backwards to the door that you came through.
Yeah.
We just did.
No, we turned around and kicked it. No, I've actually run that almost exact trap before, where you have to walk backwards into the wall to go through it.
Well, this one you have to walk backwards into the door, and then you'd be back where you originally started, whatever room that was.
So I got one for you that my old DM ran for me. Okay. You basically walk into a room, and as you walk into the room, all the doors shut around you and seal off on the inside. The room is just a 20-foot round room, and in the center of the room, there is a small pedestal, and on that pedestal is a button inlaid into the pedestal.
Oh, I push it. You know I push it.
When you push the button, all the magical lights from the lanterns in the room go out. An alarm sounds, and a glowing clock appears over one of the doors, and it counts down 10, 9, 8. What do you guys do? 7.
I guess
6,
Dimension Door and get us out of the room.
You're stuck in the room. You're just there.
I pressed the button again.
10,
Yep.
9.
Start clicking the button.
10, 10, 10.
Do
Okay.
I have glue? Can I glue the button down?
9. I mean, you can.
All right, so I leave Bruce there to keep clicking the buttons while I go explore the rest of the room.
There you go.
All right, so you explore the rest of the room thoroughly, and you can't find any secret levers or any type of secret doors. Just the door you guys came in and the door with the clock above it.
The next step would be to just let the countdown run out and see what happens.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So it goes 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then the lights turn back on, the doors open up.
Yay.
I like it.
I've come across one where you come into a room and you see a bunch of stacked blank coins and a pot of gold paint, and it says you may leave with what you color what you can leave, or something along those lines, of like you color what you treasure the most and you can leave with it.
Well, I paint myself.
There you go. Yeah, so when you paint yourself, then you can go take those coins that are blank, but when you take them out, they turn into gold coins. But if you don't paint yourself, the acid comes in and takes everyone out.
Oh yeah, there you go. Fucking acid traps, man.
Acid. I was actually thinking about after I finish the Owl campaign to run another official campaign from D&D, and I don't know if I want to run. Oops, sorry. I don't know if I want to run Wild the Witchlight. I was actually thinking of running Tomb of Annihilation.
I told you how to beat that already.
Start at level 1, have them go through all of Chult, and then approach the tomb with just their 1 lives. Now, part of the party would have already gone through it, so they have that meta knowledge, and that's fine, and that's their advantage.
Have they run the Chult section before? Because I can say from personal experience, that's the hard part of it.
Yeah, I know. We should say when seeing the tomb is the end, and getting up the tomb is the hard part.
It kind of is. Like Tomb, especially if they run it, they sort of have ideas on how to get through it. But you're trying to go through Chult, and you have no magic weapons. And let me tell you, gargoyles are a random fucking encounter, and they will fuck you up without magic weapons.
Yep.
There's a lot of nasty shit out in those jungles.
I was actually listening to our first couple episodes of the Grumpy Dungeon Master podcast that you're listening to right now. And we're talking about Tomb. I was like, I really want to try that out and like start at level 1 and do Cholt from the beginning and see what happens.
I would love to hear that. Like yeah, run it. I want to hear about it.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. What are you running? You're still running your homebrew brews?
No, I just told you I don't have time for that.
Listen, you gotta just lie. How's your games
Yeah,
going,
it's
Bruce?
going stellar, so stellar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened last session?
They successfully made sure that the soldiers didn't take over the Senate and the Temple of Abadar, which is essentially the city's banking system. And they control only half the city, but they control the parts that actually make the city work.
Neat. Sounds
So
like
you just don't have time for D&D right now. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's actually what happened the very last session that I ran. That was just back in February.
back in
Oh,
1954.
geez, February, huh?
We had to make dice out of our own bones and roll them uphill.
Speaking of
Oh.
dice, I think if you check your orders, you had someone buy a Grumpy Dungeon Master dice set today.
I did have someone buy a Grumpy Dungeon Master dice set, and you could buy your own dice set if you go to grumpydungeonmaster.com and just buy the dice set.
Yeah, that person was me.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, one of my players was showing off his dice set that he got from us. His
Did he
only
use the
disappointment.
special gift yet?
Oh no! Oh my God! So man, I don't even really want to tell the story about that yet, but I
Please
will. Well, he hasn't used it yet,
Oh,
but I have authenticated it as I am a grumpy dungeon master. I said if you know you get a pass, you get to do this in my game one time. He said that you had written up a whole bunch of different ones.
I wrote a unique one for every single like kit.
Okay, yeah,
Oh my God, coupons?
Yeah.
KODD coupons?
Yeah,
The
you
coupon
get.
war is coming. The coupon war is coming.
I think I don't think the next one. I don't think the one Bruce is going to get is going to be tailored to Bruce. I had tailored the other ones to the players because I basically just sealed them all up in
yeah.
little packages so I can just mail them off real quick.
Oh,
But
man, you should ask Shelly about coupon wars.
but then there are some random ones in there. I know the one that your player has.
Yep.
But I would say I would have things in there like you can roll a 4d6 and do force damage to one target per long rest or something like that.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, the basics of the one that he got was one time ever, he can add, I want to say it was like a D8 to any roll or subtract a D8 from a roll that I make. It was something along those lines. But, you know, it's the fact that I am one of the official GDM guys. I'm like, I have to honor this. If I
Yeah,
don't,
you do.
what kind of a DM would I be?
Coupon's a coupon, man. It's
I think
officially licensed.
I had forgotten about the Knights of the Dinner Table coupon wars too until you just mentioned it.
It's
Yeah,
classic. That's
yeah.
classic.
Like if I recall correctly, that was one of the things that the like Gary, what was his name?
Gary Jackson.
Gary Jackson, the creator of
Hack- hack-
Hackmaster,
Yeah.
was basically giving out coupons exactly like what you're doing, Waples. And then all of
But
the
they,
players started fucking using them in the games, which started breaking the games.
like some of the coupons though were like heavy hitting coupons and
Oh
shit like
yeah,
that.
like you get a +5 hack master that cannot be stolen from you and instantly resurrects your character upon death. Shit like that.
it's like that one Berserker axe in Shadowmoor.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh now that stupid weapon. That stupid weapon. I think there's like 3 of them. Like uh there was one in an auction and then we're pretty sure it popped, so we put back in again in the next auction. and that player never came back to play the game, so we put it in a third time.
Oh my god.
And then the guy that got the first time came back is like, "No, I still got it." I'm like, no, you don't. You haven't been here for 5 years. That's popped. It's all
God,
popped.
it's not here anymore. Your magic items don't stick around forever. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing my players are trying to sort of deal with in my new game, because they're playing the same characters from the old game, just in different bodies. But now they keep wanting to get their old items back, and I keep sort of throwing little hints that it might be possible, but they don't know where any of them are at the moment.
Scry.
Yeah, well, no, they have a wizard who is supposed to be doing legend lore for them, so they might be able to find some of some of the unique ones at least.
I hope one of them got cursed in the time they were gone.
Oh no, one of them is cursed. He becomes a werepanther once a month.
Ooh.
That's not necessarily a curse.
Well, I mean it's a bit of a curse. He just had a guy hunt him down last game session and try to kill him because of it.
I remember seeing the comic where like it was if you were to encounter a werewolf in real life, and like and the comic was everyone was really scared of the werewolf, like, oh my god, it's gonna bite me, I don't want to be a werewolf, and everyone's running away from the werewolf. And then it was like how werewolves are treated in Dungeons and Dragons, and everyone's like, bite me, werewolf, bite me, senpai werewolf, bite me, please bite me, I want to be a werewolf too.
God, if it wasn't true.
Yeah.
As soon as the rest of my players found out that he was a fucking werepanther, at least one of them was like, I should get him to bite me. Just immediately. That was the thought.
So whenever I play a game, like if I were to play the Pathfinder game, I usually start off by playing Thaladred, my standard fighter character, because I enjoy that. And I have a couple set of rules, which is like, if it's a monster that's bigger than me, I'm gonna kill it. If it's undead, it's double dead, and if it's a gargoyle, I genocide it. So, when I was playing Skyrim for the first time, if you've played Skyrim, the very first town you get into, there's like this group of like mercenary heroes, and I immediately joined up with them because that's exactly what Thaladred would do. Join the mercenary band for and go out and fight things.
Yeah, the
So
companions.
the companions, yeah. So you go out there and you start basically fighting things, and all of a sudden they get jumped, and the dude's like, "I'll show you the secret of the companions," and he turns into a werewolf. And so I'm standing behind the grate, I'm like, "All right, dude's a werewolf." So he lets me free. I immediately kill him
Yeah,
because he's a werewolf.
he's a
And then I
monster.
go back to town and slaughter all the companions in Whiterun because they're all werewolves. I was like,
Wow,
well, this game got weird.
I don't remember it letting you kill some of the companions you can't kill because of the story
Yeah,
missions and stuff.
they get knocked down to dead, and they come back later.
But
But
there's
I
a
felt
lot
like-
of them. There's a lot of them you can kill.
There's a lot of them you can kill, and there's a lot of missions I failed. Like I couldn't get I think there was one. The Smith is the one I couldn't kill the
Yep.
most because you have to use him later, but let him live for a little bit, I guess.
Kill him
That-
after you're done using him.
That game got a real easy whenever I blocked with a shield, time slowed down. I'm always blocking with the shields. Everyone's moving at like half speed.
Huh. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's perks you can unlock on the shield stuff.
Yep.
Like I used
like-
shields, but that wasn't ever my forte.
Yeah, as soon as it became okay, like the damage output to risk for holding two swords was better than having a shield, that shield was gone.
I only use shields if I was fighting dragons. Just because I just wanted all of the stat buffs to laugh at their dragon breath.
Oh, I just used two weapons, and it would be a two swipes, and any dragon was dead.
The only thing that like kept continuously killing me it wasn't dragons. It wasn't dragon breath, surprisingly, but it was like mages with fireball.
Oh,
like,
I always hated the ice bolts because they always see to slow you down, and you're like, you just get over here. I'm just gonna hit you once, and you're gonna die, but you're so far away. How are you hitting me?
I never understood how I could stand in front of a dragon and just soak its dragon's breath. But a mage casting a fireball across the dungeon hits me and I immediately die. I never understood that. And it always made me very mad.
And liches, man. Liches love fireball.
Liches love fireball. We need to make a shirt that says that.
It's probably already out there.
I know, but you gotta put the grumpy dungeon master spin on it and have
Yeah.
you be the lich.
Yeah, I'd be alright with that. Just a fucking ginger lich.
You could just have a picture of a lich, but then put bitches love fireballs.
Bitches love fireballs. That's me. I'm bitches.
So the lich is like fronting in a mirror because he's like, yeah, bitches love
Yeah.
fireballs. He's trying to get the bitches.
wearing like a purple robe and a crown.
Yeah,
Got a pimp cane.
gotta get me those bitches.
So Bruce, since you're a guest again, and just to keep the trend going, you have to tell us a grumpy story that you have, and not the one you told us last time.
What, a grumpy dungeon master story?
Yeah.
Oh,
Putting him on the spot, man. We didn't even warn him ahead of time.
He knows how it goes. He listens.
oh, what do I want to do? Okay. What do you remember? What the story I gave last time, just in case I repeat it?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, this is the story I'm going with. I hope I'm not repeating myself.
If you repeat it, we're just going to pretend like it's the first time we've ever heard it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I was
wow.
playing in the Kingdoms of Calamar. It's a third edition spinoff using third edition rules, but made by Kinzerco, the Hackmaster guys. My friend Jay was allowed me to play in his group. I played a rogue who was chaotic neutral, and I was just going around and doing things like I wanted to. But sometimes the missions were having us, go buy certain things, and I would just roll. I was like, you know what? I fucking feel like a beer. See you guys. You go do what you're gonna do. I'm gonna have a beer. And then other times we get in the middle of war, we're fighting and stuff, sounds of battles. I would roll my own fog of war. I'm like, they said stop, but did I hear it? I'm 40 feet away and we're fighting this shit. And I rolled and no, I didn't hear them stop. So I kept shooting until like stop. And then a couple sessions later, the dungeon master pulled me aside, and my buddy's Jay there, and that's you, Jay. And he goes, the other group, not Jay, feel that you are not making it fun for them because you're not falling in line. And I'm like, am I role playing this wrong? And he's like, no, you are role playing chaotic neutral 100% correct, but I have to ask you to get a different character. So that's my grumpy dungeon master. I, as a player, was being grumpy that was playing something too right.
Yep. That's why nobody likes chaotic neutral.
Yeah, I was playing the game today with Panda, and like I was playing my Gunslinger character that I normally play, and I just kept flipping the switch unintentionally and playing Salad Red every once in a while. Like making a decision is basically, oh, I'm just gonna go hit it. I'm like, no, I can't make the decision.
I'm gonna run in and smash it with my gun.
I'm gonna ruin the game if I do that.
Yeah, you gotta pistol whip them.
But we were standing outside of a keep, and like I couldn't think of like anything to do to get inside of this keep other than go kill the guard. And I'm like, no, that's not the right choice. I'm a noble.
Would the Reverend Panda let you pour all of your black powder out and blow up the wall?
I mean, I probably could. I could probably definitely find the materials to do that since I have tinkering skills and probably make a bomb. But I didn't do that because I'm already enough of a rare phoenix in the world. I don't want to kind of go overboard. But he had an amazing sheet though that was all of the potions you could buy in a store. Like he had crafted this up and put it and showed it to us. So like it has a health potion on there for like 50 gold. But then he had like alchemist fire and poisons and like a bunch of other potions that he made as well too, like a healing salve, which I like the healing salve a lot. It's the same cost as a healing potion, except it just restores you to full hit points during a short rest.
Without the use of a hit die.
I think so. or maybe you have to use a hit die and it just brings you back to full.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. I really like that one. And I'm like, but is that worse than the defibrillator?
Oh God, no, no. The defibrillator is the most stupid thing that sort of we already talked about it on here, but no, the defibrillator was bad. Let's not do that.
What's the worst item you ever came across, Bruce? In your
Worst item?
in your 75 years of DMing, what's the worst item you came across?
Somebody using Shadowrun's emergency services to beat the end boss.
I
Oh,
mean,
really?
that's creative, is what that is.
It's
I wanna hear this
creative.
story.
Well, there's like this gold or platinum service where like they'll come in like choppers and shit with armed guards to get you out if you even hurt yourself, and it's expensive per month. So what the group decided to do is they chipped in to get one guy in their group to get the service, and they only could be up for a day. That's how much money it was costing. So they went into the mafia boss's thing. They said they're going to parlay, and the guy said, "You stop your crime empire right now, or we're going to stop you." And the crime boss was like, "Ah ha 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 ha," and then he's like, "Okay," and then he cut his hand. And then the emergency services busted through all the windows and killing everyone to get the guy out.
That is amazing, and I love it.
You
Now-
you played Cyberpunk, Chris. Remember the very beginning
Yeah,
mission
yeah.
where like that's what it is. They show up, they fucking blow up everyone if they're in the way.
I like.
So I
that.
hate that item only because of the use of it. I love the creativity. I hate the item.
Yeah.
Creative use of game mechanics there.
Yep.
That reminds me almost of in World of Warcraft, there was a paladin tank ability, and paladin tanks didn't exist in vanilla. They just were there, but no one ever used them. But there was an ability that they had that basically let them, upon getting a critical hit, they immediately did a auto attack back. Okay, but somebody found out that you could basically be outside the range of the paladin, like behind them, and hit them, you get the crit, and it wouldn't use that auto attack because there was no target for them to hit. So what they did is basically the paladin dueled a horde member and then sat down, and then the horde basically just punched him right in the back, getting a free critical hit. Okay, they did this for like 4 hours or some extreme amount of time, and then the paladin stood up, ran over to the world boss, which is this giant demon that like took guilds to kill, ran up to it, and then basically engaged it, and then all those stored auto attacks all flooded out at the same exact time and killed the raid boss instantly.
And crashed the server at the same time.
No, but he did kill the boss and get all the loot. And it was patched out, I think, in 12 hours once
I
once
bet.
the video went live. So I always thought that was a creative use of game mechanics, much similar to calling in the platinum healing service.
Yep. Sometimes game mechanics are broken and should not be allowed. Let's be honest. Like luck halflings who are blind.
So any parting words from you, Bruce?
I'm southbound and down. All my rolls are crits. It's time for me to hit the bricks.
Oh, now we have 2 outro songs.
Yeah, we do. I think I'm not gonna add ReverendPandas this week. I think I'm just gonna leave that one. Then I'll swap them up every other week.
All right, bye everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye, Beer Bandit. Bye, Craig.